Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Historical Humans Reacts. And on today's episode, we're talking about a Texas county that labels a Native American history book as a work of fiction, sparking outrage. And I think one of the most absurd facts of this is Montgomery County in Texas decided to label a Native American history book as a work of fiction, and they refused to consult with the librarians.
Yeah, it's
Oh, I hate
it's
shit like this.
yeah, it's bad. So Montgomery County is a county in Texas. It's just north of Houston, but it's a much more rural county than that city. And the the book they've chosen to ban is titled Colonization and the Wampanoag Story by Linda Combs. And Miss Combs here is a Native American historian. And the worst part of this is that the book wasn't banned for some reason like explicit content or the usual fanfare of a book banning. No, it was banned from the nonfiction section and by order of this county to be labeled as a work of fiction.
And it came as one resident challenged it. And, yeah, as a result of this, there's been a national campaign for justice, launched a petition demanding that they return the book to nonfiction, and it has a 31,200 signatures at this time. And it doesn't really explain why the committee moved the book to fiction, because it chronicles the mistreatment that Native Americans had in New England, and the committee's meetings are closed to the public.
Though, given that it displays, shall we say, the founding of the American nation in a negative, colonialist, and exploitative light, as it would have been to the Wampanoag people, I'm guessing that's why it got banned.
Uh,
Well, and they talk about how Texas is very common to whitewash history, especially
Oh,
indigenous history, but what's really, I think, kind of the kicker of this story, and something that irks me to the core, is not only is the committee's meetings closed to the public, but the decisions can't be appealed. They have no appeals process, so you can't even challenge their decision.
nope.
You just
You
have to
can't.
accept it.
Yeah, you can't change it back. There's no petition to change it back. There's nothing you can do
And
to
the
first.
fucked up part too is the book is recognized as a work of nonfiction by its publisher, Penguin Random House, the Houston Public Library, the Austin Public Library, the Fort Worth Public Library, and even the Library of Congress all classify this as a work of nonfiction.
again, it doesn't even matter what logic it follows because they're doing this out of a political motive.
Yeah,
That's the whole thing. It's political.
it's
So
malicious intent because
there's no
like
point in trying to understand or reason with them
yeah,
because they're going to do it whether you like it or not.
It's blatant bigoted policy that's being pushed upon everyone else, and Texas has been one of the most prolific book banners in recent times, having banned 438 books to be exact so far.
Oh,
yeah,
and most school, like K through 12 books, are like the company is based in Texas.
Yeah, so it has a very biased viewpoint, and
That's why we learn about Texas history in all 50 states,
yeah.
even though
It's
for the most part we all
nobody
don't
cares.
care,
yeah.
except for the
It's
part where, Texas uh rebelled against Mexico because a bunch of white people wanted to keep their slaves, and Mexico was abolishing slavery.
Yeah. And yeah, we do have a podcast on that
But
actually.
remember the Alamo, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. But it's also this whitewashing and whatnot is also why you never hear about the fact that there were Native Americans defending the Alamo. It's always just the Texans in these stories. But yeah, and just to drive home how wrong this decision is to label this work of history as fiction. Penguin Random House is one of the largest publishers of nonfiction in the United States of America. Fort Worth, Austin, and Houston public libraries are the three largest libraries in the state of Texas. And the Library of Congress is the Library of Congress. It is the baseline default fact for what is and isn't a thing for the United States of America as a country. All of these entities disagree with this statement by virtue of the fact that they have kept the book in nonfiction.
I I very much also feel, and this is where I'm going to get on a soapbox for a second, but I feel like any sort of book banning is bad, inherently so. There should be freedom to information, freedom to access. Something like this is just, it's there to impact people. It's there to exercise political and ideological control. It's to whitewash history. It's not in any way, shape, or form anything positive. No matter how they try to bend the narrative or change the direction in which we're arguing.
Yeah, because that's the interesting thing about this. They're not saying this book shouldn't exist in the library. They're saying this book, because it deals with Native American history, can only exist as a work of fiction.
Yeah, because they didn't live here. It's only been white people.
Yeah, because it's this logic that we're not kicking the book out of the library. We're just reclassifying things we don't agree with as fictitious, and that's just a new level of malicious and dangerous.
It's revisionist history, and that's probably the most fucked up part in my mind.
Yeah, and it's kicking, it's punching down. It's punching down hard. The Wampanoag did nothing to deserve this.
No, and rightfully so. The decision's being challenged, but this is also just an exercise of how far can these censorship rules go? How far can they really flex that muscle before someone fights back? This was definitely just like a feeler. Like, okay, how far can we actually go?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's probably enough for us to talk about here. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, let us know down below, and we'll see you in the next one.